Hi, this is Cobb with Session 4 in the training series for the Stewardship Web Mapping application from the Georgia Forestry Commission. And in this session we are going to migrate back over to the web app to do some final procedures in producing our map output. This is the web map that we created in the last session. We modified the original version of the web map, which was in the default application, the GFC application, and then we saved that under another name into the user's content folder. So this is a different version of the web map that can be used as a basis for another application that will retain all of these modifications that we made to the original map, such as these added in labels and refined the symbology and so forth, and added in these other symbolized layers. So when we save this into our content, you can see that what we have is, if we go to to user content, you'll see that we have these layers that are saved there. This is the map that we created in the last session. You see it's a web map. This feature layer was created when we did the analysis to calculate stand acres. You remember that it created a separate feature layer, a hosted feature layer in your content when you ran the analysis. So if we want to manage these folders and data a little more effectively, we can create, so by default this is all saved into the home folder, which is your username, but we can create new folders underneath, subfolders under the home folder with the names of a topic or a landowner or what have you. And then what we can do is, since we created this after we all got already saved in the home folder, we can just select these in the home folder, the ones that pertain to this Monahan track, and then we can move those to Monahan. So you see they've disappeared from the home folder, and now they'll be found in the Monahan track. And so what we can do then is open this map back up. This is our web map, and from the map viewer interface, so when you open the web map in the viewer, the way to initiate the app creation is through the share function here. Now this would be the way if you wanted to share your maps with the commission, or publicly, or with these groups, but in this case, what we want to do is create a web app based on this web map. And you see we have two in our templates folder right now, and this is the stewardship. The FSP is a stewardship mapping template that we've been using before. So we can create an app with that, except this time this is going to be our template that we use for our web maps that we create for our specific tracks. So we can name this one something like FSP template in your name or something like that. And so it has to have at least one tag, but that's okay. And so this is going to be the app that we create based on this web map. And when we do this, it's a configurable app. So the first thing it'll do, other than making us log in, because again we are on our internal server, so the browser's not able to persist our login information. But if we log in again, then we'll see that we have an app here that is based on the web map that we've modified. So it looks like the application we were working with before, except the map is the modified version that we saved in our content. Over here, since it's configurable, the first dialog that comes up is to actually select or change the web map that the app is based on. But since we, the way we initiated this is from the web map itself that we wanted to use, then we wouldn't need to change the web map in this case. So this is our app, and if we could go back to our content and see that now we have this template, which is right now based on this web map right here. And so if we open this and view the application, it's going to we're going to have to log in again. Unfortunately. And then the app opens with the new web map as the basis, and we can continue now. So the main purpose of this third step of bringing this back into the app is that we need this for our customized print template. So way over here on the right, we have these two print templates, and the one that we want to use is this GFC, because this is our branded print template that's coming from our server. And this other one is this is one that's in ArcGIS Online out of their utilities. So in the event that this one doesn't work and you really need a printout, you can use this one, but it's not branded, not recommended. It's not really something you could put in an official stewardship plan. But that's the main functionality that we need at the end to get this final map product completed. There are a good number of other tools that we could look at that you could do some final adjustments on your map. Essentially the main function of this last step is to get this customized printout. If you needed, so since you can only label one polygon layer in the web map viewer, so whichever layer is on top gets labeled and the others get overridden like that, you could use the draw tool to create some kind of text that you needed to add into the map afterwards, like a label or some kind of designation. Something like the total tract acres, or something like that. And I don't. This is probably not something you would do, but for any kind of text that you would need to add in after the fact, because you won't be able to add text to the map layout since it's static coming from our server. So anything else you needed to add text-wise would have to be, and we could probably change this to a better color or whatever. But so then when we add this point here, then we could add some text which indicates the total tract acreage or any other text that you needed. And this is when you create this with the draw tool, it actually comes in as an operational layer until you refresh the browser. And so if you had a map, if you were creating multiple maps out of this app at the same time and you needed to turn that off, you could turn that on and off like that. So the other tools in the app, you can probably figure out they're pretty basic, just map interface tools. The measure tool does just area and length. This is a tool that we had in an earlier version, and we retained it just for it. Doesn't it will bring in a shapefile, but it doesn't really append it to any of the data, and it doesn't really persist it in the map. But for a case where you had a shapefile and you just needed it for reference, like to tell where something, where an item was, or if you were going to use it as a basis for digitizing some data on the map, then you could do this. And this would have to be, all of the files from the shapefile would have to be combined into a folder and then compressed and made into a zip folder. And that's the format that it's looking for to add these files. So, but you can do that, assuming you get it into the right format. And these will stay in the operational layers as well. So you can manage these here and turn those on and off and so forth. But it won't be widely used. You can also, in the last session, once we've generated this map product, we're going to have one final session that has just some miscellaneous topics. And in that session, we'll discuss if you wanted to bring in some other data from another source. So this KML upload, it doesn't just work for the stands and the track boundary layers. It works for any layer in the map, and depending on the geometry of the layer that you bring in, it will allow you to append it to the appropriate layers that are in the map. And so that's something that is, if you had GPS data, or if you had somebody give you a shape file that you wanted to bring into the map. And so the workflow for this is the same as what we did for the stands and track, that you have to use something, and we use DNR Garmin generally to convert whatever the format is, a GPX or a shapefile, into KML format, and then we can use it to upload it into the map with this tool here. And so those are some of the miscellaneous topics we'll cover and go through in the last step. But from as far as this series of sessions, we're going to now look at generating our map output, our print output. So this is one of the most difficult things to do through the web interface. We've worked on this a long time, and it's still not perfect, and I apologize, but it does work. It's just going to be a process where you may have to have a little patience before you get the output that you want. But we do have a custom set of custom print templates through this tool, which is our GFC print templates. And if you look at these, one advantage that this tool has over a lot of the other web map tools is it generates a frame on the map frame in the data frame, and so this represents, the inside of this frame represents the area that you will be printing, because it does take a little while to generate these print outputs for some reason. And so you want to make sure you have the extent that you need before you start to generate the printout. So when we move from one of these layout types to another, then we will find that the shape of this layout changes. And so basically you want to make sure that you can, when you click and drag inside the frame, you see that you can reposition the data frame and if you're unlucky enough, what's happened this time is it didn't quite get the extent correct as far as when it brought up the original frame. And in that case, you'll have to try to zoom out and get get the frame lined up in a better way. But just to demo how this works, so you see I have this basically all in the frame here. It's going to cut off a little bit of it. Also, the side legend option is has, of course, just the legend in a single column along the right margin. So this one, it looks like we can get this entire tract covered here. And so you can modify the elements of this based on your specific tract information. Oops. And also down here, you can. This is something that you would adjust if you were the dots per inch or DPI. If you're going to put this out, these are letter size, and if you export these to something like PDF, which is scalable, so you could make a larger format print, and all of the ANSI sizes are based on multiples of the letter size or the tabloid size. But if you're going to do that, you would need to increase this DPI so that when you, like the imagery, for example, when it is blown up to that larger format, you may have some pixelation. All of the vector layers should rescale. And here's a field for the author. And so then we are ready to print. And this takes, as I said, a little while, way too long actually, and sometimes fails. One of the main reasons that this is so problematic is that these templates are hosted on our server, our internal server, and so it's more difficult to access those than if they were. But given the amount of time we spent on this is actually the only method to create these custom branded templates that is available right now. So as this processes, then what we're doing is we can. This is you see, this is being generated as a PDF, and we can also choose a number of other formats here. Any of these formats that we can output. But the advantage to PDF is if you did need to scale that up to a larger format, then all of the vector information would scale with it. So let's look at what we have here, if anything. Okay. All right. So you see that one thing that I failed to notice about this is the track boundary layer that from when we were originally creating the stands was still turned off. So you see that it's not present in the map and not present in the legend either. So only the layers that are turned on in the application layers list, and also the ones that are within the extent of this print frame, of this data frame here, are going to be included in the legend. You remember from the last session when we were modifying these legend labels, I'd mentioned that only the ones that had features within that class, so the first 5 stands, would be included in the legend in the output, in the print output. And so here, this is the way this is working. They shouldn't have put author in the. So let's try. Let's go with this one more time. This is not bad, and So that's the process for creating the print layouts. This was a very important part of our original intent with the project, is to be able to generate these print templates that are branded and more or less standardized in the layout, and have all of the map elements that we need in here. So again, yeah, sorry about that. If you needed to, if this print service had failed, and this happens sometimes when our server is having problems or down, and you need to have a generic print service. And this is not going to have a logo or any of the other, the elements aren't customized, but in some cases you can, because this is based on templates that are hosted by Esri online and not our GFC server, then you should be able, or in some cases you'll be able to generate a print here, whereas you were having problems with our GFC templates. We'll see what happens here. So yeah, this is a similar printout. You see of course, the problem with this is that we couldn't really tell what our print extent would be before. Without the frame, it's difficult to know exactly, what your print extent will be. So now we've cut off the track from the top and bottom, so this wouldn't be anything we could use. But it does have so in this case the legend is contained in this bottom section. This is the standard portrait template, and whereas the other print was a side legend. This is our side legend version. So there's two different layouts. They're similar, but it just depends on the specific map and which works better for you. So that is the session 4, which involved creating some folders in your content to save your to sort of organize your different content according to your landowner or your topic of interest. You can do that, and then we brought in this modified web map and created a separate app that has this web map as its basis, and we were able to use the app, the print services in the app, to create a customized branded print template layout. So the only thing to do from this point is to so this is a sort of a PDF viewer, and we can save this as a PDF. You see, this is going to be here, and we can save it in our Monahan folder. We can name it Monahan stand map, and so that's a PDF that's saved there. And finally, you can you can bring this. We're in the Monahan folder now. If you wanted to add that image, your map image, your final map layout, you can add it into your content, so you'll have all of your items in together. So that's possible there with so let's find where our landowner folder is, and then we can take the PDF stand map and we can add that into our content. Make a couple of tags, and we can add this item into our content. So now this is just a standard PDF image document that we've generated from the print service in our web mapping application. So this is a PDF, and it's saved in the same into my content and into the Monahan folder. So there it is. So this was session 4, and it was involving the getting the final print layouts mainly, and managing your data and your content in ArcGIS Online, where you've saved your web map from the last session. And the next session, as I mentioned, will just be some miscellaneous information about different capabilities, and about how over time you can develop different ways to best utilize this resource. So thank you. Hope it helped.